Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me. One more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
Good morning. I'm Mark Hamilton. I'm going to call the February 27th, 2025 Community and Economic Development Authority meeting to order. And our first order of business is to do a roll call. So Mike, if you'd do the honors.
Sure. Allen?
Oh, yeah.
Garcia Sierra? Hardy?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Maldonado?
Here.
Potts?
Here.
Sanders?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Our next item of business is the approval of the minutes from January 23, 2025. They were attached to the agenda that came out. Is there any discussion of these minutes?
I'll move approval.
We have a move to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded. Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we will take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Same sign. Okay. The next item is public appearances for non-agenda items. Do we have any? My colleagues are telling me no. So we will move on right to the next item. Mike, the resolution and ordinance on the contract between city and Sustain Dane for the Efficiency Navigator program.
Do you want to get a motion in a second, and then we'll go into an overview and discussion?
So I need a motion on the resolution.
I'll move approval.
Okay.
Second.
We have a move and a second. Is there further discussion?
Okay.
Hearing none.
And then
All those in favor signify by saying.
No, we're going to.
Okay, hold it.
Presentation.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to move this too fast. Apologize.
That's okay.
Coffee today.
I know. So we will move into the discussion. Mike, the floor is yours and Claire's.
Okay, as you know, we've been working with Sustain Dane and Elevate Wisconsin on the Efficiency Navigator program. So this is, we're moving to the next phase in that project to do the actual improvements in the buildings. And with that, we have our partner, Claire Schaefer from Sustain Dane online. And so I'm going to turn it over to Claire to just kind of give us an overview of that next phase.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Nice
Good morning.
to see you. Good morning. We've been working for about a year, a little over a year now, with the Efficiency Navigator program. This is one of three initiatives that Fitchburg, is undertaking around affordable housing. Ours is focused on existing affordable housing and to provide upgrades around energy efficiency and health and comfort and safety in order for these units to reduce their operating expense, so how much residents are paying for their utility bills, as well as make them healthier homes and better places to live. So what we brought to you today is the phase where we have the quotes for kind of the first section of the buildings that we would like to move forward to do implementations. Previously, we had completed assessments in each of these properties. We did a recommendation and evaluation of what came back for how we wanted to prioritize the potential measures. and then we put together a plan to move forward. So this first phase, there's a number of weatherization items. We also are doing in a couple of the houses, we're going to do some additional blower door testing with some of the way the roofs are set up and some items that the contractor identified. We want to learn a little bit more about them before we come back with a specific quote. So after this phase, our intent is to come back with another phase, all staying within budget and within the improved recommended program itself. After approval, it will probably take about 2 weeks for us to finalize agreements with all the property owners and the contractors. Property owners sign a community benefits agreement that they commit to their rents remaining at or below the HUD fair market rent value for 5 years in exchange for participating in the program. Then we would schedule contractors, have the contractors move forward with the work. Sustained Dane pays the contractors. We assess the work and then review the work and then do evaluations going forward about the impact and its benefits to the community. Any other parts you wanted me to cover, Mike?
What I'll do, hey Jeremy, can you flash up my screen for me, please? I've just got the listing of the buildings, and the total amount is $72,131. Jeremy, are you in there? Yeah.
Well, while we're waiting
Hold on
on
a
that,
second, folks. We've got a technical difficulty here. Hold on.
Okay.
can I ask a couple of questions?
Sure, go ahead.
You had that list of things, which I just lost. There it is. And this list is, it's got pages 1 to 3, 4 to 5, 6 to 7. What are those pages of? Because I don't think I've seen the actual document that has these 19 pages.
I know, that's what.
Yeah. If you go to, do you have your packet up, Jay? I'm
Yeah.
trying to flash it up on the screen for you, but on page, page 34, page 29 and 50 in the packet there, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I don't
You
pull
see
up,
the chart?
I don't pull up the packet that way.
Oh, okay. We've got the,
All right.
there's 10 buildings with 8 different owners
Yeah.
and a total of 76 units.
Okay, now I see what's going on.
Okay, and it involves properties on Deer Valley Road, Smithfield Drive, and then Genuine are kind of the 3 areas.
Yeah. I was surprised to see rim joists installation coming up because I used to work in property management and I was doing rim joist installations back in the late 80s. I thought that had pretty much all been done by now. So the fact that there's still buildings out there that haven't had that done is pretty astounding. I was going to ask you, what is pre-combustion safety testing? What does that mean?
So that connects with the blower door testing. So for this building, I believe it's a Manson roof that it has. So the way that weatherization or attic and air sealing could happen is different depending on what's going on there. And doing the combustion safety testing and the blower door test will allow us to understand some more about where there's insulation or where there's not, because it's important that we bring you guys a quote that's real specific to the work that will have the biggest impact. So we didn't want to make any assumptions. Also, I should note that with the weatherization work, we do have to do safety testing for all of the appliances and then confirm that there's no gas leaks, because as we tighten up these homes, we want to make sure that there's no safety that happens. And similar to your comment about, I can't believe there's still rim joists, I'd say half of the time we also oftentimes will find some kind of area that needs repair for safety with equipment for gas leaks. So that's also part of the testing that gets done as we close out the projects as well.
I guess I was asking a more technical question about what exactly pre-combustion safety testing is. What does that mean? What are the steps in doing that? Do you know?
I am not the expert on that.
Okay.
But I could give you kind of a, in general, this is a way that we're before the installation, we're looking to see if there's other gas leaks. So for instance, on the water heater, if we see like markings of residue that we think, oh, there might be a gas leak already, we'll do the testing, which has to do with, kind of around the equipment itself, using a mechanism to be able to really be sensitive to if there's any gas somehow leaking out of, possibly where tubes are connecting or where the connection point happens to the equipment itself. So I'm sorry I can't provide a more technical explanation of that. I can certainly follow up with some more information from our on-site team if you'd like.
Yeah, that's okay. I just wanted to get a better grasp of what that meant.
Okay. Other questions or further discussion?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yes, Dan.
There you go. On page 30 of 50, in the top right-hand corner, there's a little, like a business card, stop energy loss with AA Exteriors. Are they doing all the work in this phase? Or is this just an estimate?
So estimates were provided for each one of the housing units.
All right. Is AA Exteriors, are they the estimator or are they the contractor that was selected to do the work?
Contractor selected to do the work.
So back on page 6 of 50, where you go through this litany of other potential contractors you contracted, the only one of all these people that you guys decided to choose was AA Exteriors. Nobody else came
Right,
up.
in phase one, they were the only one able to meet the deadlines that were necessary for us to move through the approval process to start work this spring. We'll be coming back to you with a phase two. The total contracted amount that we discussed was a $310,000 amount. So this is the first phase. We also have work with Project Home, and then we have windows that just take longer for the estimating, and we wanted to do some more refinement with them as well. So there will be other contractors coming forward, but they were not ready to move forward at the date you guys needed.
All right. Going back to page 6 of 50, and the contract itself, the last line in the first paragraph, Sustained Dane will continue in phase 2 to serve as a project manager. How is Sustained Dane to be compensated for its oversight?
So there is a contract that was completed about a year ago that provides the compensation for our project management. So that is already covered with a separate contract. And maybe Mike or Lorene, if you guys wanted to describe the name of that contract or the vehicle. But we are not included in this piece coming forward because of another contract that is already managing our project management.
And Dan, that initial contract was for $80,000, and I think it references in there back in May of '24 with the resolution that was for kind of the project management and oversight.
Okay.
And that's for Sustained Dane, Elevate, and Joining Forces for Families, the three of us together working on the project.
All right. On page 7 of 50, the top first sentence on that page, provide the city with an itemized invoice. What do you mean itemized?
So Mike, I'll let you answer that as well.
Excuse me.
My understanding is what we provided was the invoice.
Are the bids that you're showing subsequent to the contract, are those itemized in your judgment?
In our judgment, that is what we provided because that's what we have used traditionally in this program. to then move forward with implementation work.
So how do you tell if you have those, in my judgment, those are just general statements of what you're gonna be charged for doing that work. So how does an application for extraordinary efforts or costs that are incurred, how do you judge that without an itemized list of time and materials?
We're happy to discuss additional information that you guys may need for the cost of these items, and the way we have worked before, these descriptions match the RFQs that we put together and explain for us what's going on. So, please let us know if there's additional information that would be helpful.
Well, no, I'm just looking at the contract because the contract's going to control the relationship of the parties. And it says itemized, and your bids are very general in my judgment. And so if people come back and ask for more because of extraordinary circumstances they run into, I wanted to know how you were going to determine that they're entitled to ask for additional funds.
I'll let Mike and Lorene answer that.
Yeah, in the subsequent paragraph, Dan, it talks there about all change orders over $500 must be approved and documented in writing by the building inspector. So we've been in contact with them about the process that we would use.
But how do you know that the $500 shouldn't have been included in the first bid? If you just have a general, we're going to do this work for $1,280. Mm-hmm. And now the contractor comes back and says, oh, I need some extra. Well, if you don't know what was in the $1,280, how do you determine that it's appropriate to ask for the extra $500?
I think we have the original kind of quotes that are listed there, and we'll be working, with the building inspector, as some of these things come in, and our payment, to them will be based on kind of final invoices and that the work is done.
It doesn't call for final invoices. It just says these are general bids and this is what's going to be paid. That's what the contract says to me, anyway.
I know Joyce has been working with both the finance department to make sure that we follow our processes and procedures, and also with Claire and Sustained Gain. So our normal process is we get the bids, but then our payments are kind of subject to those final invoices after the work is done. So I think we'll be working hand in hand with Sustained Gain and Elevate Wisconsin to kind of follow our standard processes and procedures there before our payment would be dispersed. And then the change orders, if there's things over 500, then those have to be approved. That goes to the next level then with the mayor. Yeah. At 500, where it's kind of more at the administration staff.
Mike, they have to be approved, but you don't have a good baseline. That's my problem. Under payment, we're going to pay these itemized invoices, which are just the bids, they're not itemized, up, maybe paid weekly. I didn't see anything in here about lien waivers. Is the intention that we're going to get lien waivers from the subcontractors and the contractors for doing this work? It should be in the contract. Otherwise, they retain a lien on the property, potentially.
You can chime in.
My last
Lien waivers are not something that we've...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Is there, could you describe some more your concern about lien waivers? That's not something that's come up in our other 3 years of the program.
Any contractor who performs services to improve real property in the state of Wisconsin has a lien on the property for his time and materials that are furnished. If you go to Menards and order some materials, and Menards delivers the materials to the contractor and the contractor installs them on the property, Menards has a lien on the property, potentially. So normally in a construction contract setting, the owner is going to require a lien waiver from the contractor and the material supplier before they make any payment. I didn't see that in here.
I can discuss it with our attorneys and our team more. Thank you for bringing that up.
And the last comment I have is, we have an indemnification from Sustained Dane to the city of Fitchburg. Does Sustained Dane have financial wherewithal to support that indemnification? Have you seen their financial statement, Mike?
I haven't, no.
All right. Those are my only comments.
Are there other further comments? So Mike and Noreen, I have a question. Do we want to go back and research these questions that Dan has raised before we vote on this today? It's kind of a process thing.
Yeah. Claire, I know timing-wise, as far as the contractors, I'm just wondering if we could, that's what where I was going. Yeah, could we do it contingent upon that we work with Sustained Dane on the indemnification kind of financial statement and then the lien waivers there, and subject to kind of our city attorney?
I assume the city attorney's already looked at the contract.
Yeah, but these are some additional questions, so if she kind of signs off on it, are you good with that, or?
Mike, all I'm doing is raising some questions that I see as an attorney who's dealt with contracts for 50 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would not have my client sign this contract with those questions open and pending. Now, the city can do what it wants, but those are my concerns.
Okay.
I think Dan has good points. I guess I'd like an answer too, because I'm not an attorney.
Yeah, either am I.
And I think that let's get that answered, and if we can do a contingency vote after those questions are answered to the committee's satisfaction.
The alternative would be that we bring it back again next month with those questions and clarifications, and then it would go to the council on April 8th, I believe, for their meeting. Right, yeah.
What's that going to do with the delay, Claire? I'm looking at your face here.
Yeah.
I mean, our intent was for work, to have begun in 2024. So, we are moving at a delayed pace. And of course, we want to have the process that you guys feel comfortable with. So we will work with you on what you want. They're just, contractors fill up with their schedules. We may need to get some rebids because it's going to be, a long period of time between when the initial bids were provided. And we will work with you guys to do that, if that's what you feel is the best process.
So again, Mike, I think your and Jenny's comment about trying to get a contingency answer before, so it doesn't have to come back to this group next month and then delay the whole process is what I'd like to see. Jenny, you were going to say something?
Well, are you comfortable with that, Dan?
Yeah,
If we do a contingent
Mike
vote?
signing off on it.
Yeah, and we'll work with the city attorney.
We can hold him accountable.
We'll check things on that.
So we'll amend the motion.
But was this contract originally written by Dane County Corporate Counsel, or who actually wrote this contract to begin with?
Claire, this originated with you, right? Your organization?
You asked
The
us to
language?
provide the first
Yeah.
draft, and then your city attorney worked on it as well, made a number of revisions, and we've worked together to put it to this point.
And this is what you're...
And I'd say we base this off the contract. We work with the city of Madison and the city of Middleton.
So maybe a motion to amend the motion, the main motion there, just to say staff will check in on the bids and the invoices, the lien waivers, and then the financial statement for the indemnification.
Okay.
Second.
We have a
Okay,
motion.
those three items we'll just check on, working with Claire and also making sure that our finance director and our city attorney are comfortable with those based on Dan's questions.
Agreed, I think.
No, we're saying, that we get the sign off by the city attorney on those.
Okay. So Dan, thank you very much for those comments. And Claire, sorry, we're just trying to take a look at what we're approving. So we now need to act on the motion. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes.
And I just want to thank Dan. That's one of the reasons why we have the various expertise on this committee, because it covers a lot of different areas and everything. So we appreciate that.
Thank you, Dan. Is there anything else for Claire? If not, Claire, thank you very much for your time, and we will move on with the meeting.
Thanks, Claire.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Okay, next we have Angela Kinderman, the Fitchburg Chamber and Business Bureau CEO, and she's going to give us a year-end review. Angela, you're up.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Angela.
I'm going to share the screen here, if that's okay. Everybody can see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So feel free to ask questions along the way. We're just here to give our annual report about tourism activity from our department in 2024 and talk a little bit about what we're looking at for 2025. As you know, we are the Fitchburg Visitor Business and Business Bureau, so our organization administers the 70% of the room tax that's designated for tourism promotion and marketing. Here's a little bit of data. This is provided by Destination Madison. They've put a lot of resources towards real data and research in the last couple of years, really taking a look at what is going on in Dane County and who our visitors are and what they're spending. So for 2023, we had in Dane County 8.9 million visitors. That was a spending total of $4.1 million a day for a dollar amount of $1.5 billion in economic development impact for based on visitor spending in Dane County. The hospitality tourism industry provides close to 19,000 jobs. And then the spending breakdown of what people are spending their money on, which is really helpful to us to kind of target where we are focusing our marketing. So 14.5% is on recreation and entertainment, 10.5% on accommodations, our hotels, 10.5% approximately on food and beverage, and then of course 9% on transportation, 6.8% on retail. I think last year I shared with you the Wisconsin Department of Tourism's economic impact report, which was pretty significant. So I share this just today as a reminder of how reliant we are in Wisconsin and in Dane County and in Fitchburg on the dollars of our visitors. And so we want to continue to invest in assets for them. A little bit of more information. I think Destination Madison will be visiting you in a couple of months. If not at CETA, they will be joining us at a Fitchburg Focus in May. And they can deeper dive into the research and data that they have accumulated. But another aspect that they collected in 2024 that's been really helpful to all of us is the profile of our visitors. And so the top 3 profiles of people coming to the Madison area, including Fitchburg, are the active travelers. And so those are people which are right up our alley, the bikers, hikers, canoe, kayak, people that want to participate in an activity, an adventure. That can also include like a culinary or a culinary experience, a sporting event, that type of thing. So you'll see those people stay an average of 4 nights, spend about $2,700. And those are great. That's a great profile for us in Fitchburg to focus on. We have the culture seeker, historical sites such as like the Ice Age Trail, placing value on creating memorable life experiences. Again, culture, culinary, shopping, accommodations, and then the casual getaway. And this one we really like, and it's a good reminder that a lot of our visitor spending is provided by people coming to visit people that are our residents. So the casual getaway might include a family visit or a friend visit. and then staying. And then those people do spend money in our hotels. They spend an average of $1,700 when they come to visit. They want socializing and natural beauty, kind of spending time with their family or friends who they're visiting. So these profiles really help inform our marketing decisions, and then not only our marketing decisions, but what kind of assets, events we're investing in. A little bit, you guys know us. We are the destination marketing entity for Fitchburg. Last year, we were again focusing on brand awareness, which is really important for us. Some of the ways that we do this: create a lot of content, market it to those profiles that we just recently talked about. We do produce the annual Fitchburg Guide. 10,000 copies were distributed last year, and again, we've started in 2025 with our new one. We have an active Visit Fitchburg newsletter that is has a pretty good subscription rate and a pretty good open rate. Our marketing team, makes sure that all the online media outlets are updated with Fitchburg events. This year, we had quite a bit of increased social media engagement. Social media is how many of the visitors make their decisions, and so we have to make sure that we have a strong presence there. We also support corporate development. Corporate travelers are also visitor spenders. And so again, aligning with our Forward Fitchburg strategy, we support association conferences and events. We do provide marketing and design assistance for our economic development team, Mike and Joyce. We are sponsors in conjunction with the city for a couple of the conferences that Promega hosts, the Stem Cell Symposium and the International Forum on Consciousness. And we do work with our hotels, help them if they want to coordinate meetings, conventions. We try to link them with appropriate associations that would want to hold conferences here. And of course, we work with our Fitchburg-based companies, sometimes providing grant assistance to hold their meetings and conferences in Fitchburg. Leisure development, that's what most people think of when they think of tourism. And of course, we're heavily invested there. In addition to the marketing and promotion of everything that's going on in Fitchburg, not just the big events, but a lot of our businesses are really active in providing activities and unique events to not only our residents, but to visitors. For example, Four Winds Farm does a great job of providing culinary experiences. So we do quite a bit of sharing their information. Things like that are really important. Again, when you think of that visitor profile of the person coming to visit friends and family in Fitchburg, it's nice if they have those unique events that our businesses provide, or the parks or the assets in our city. We certainly either support and or produce some of our signature events, like the Bird Challenge taking place every year. Kids Building in Wisconsin is a May event, Festa Italia, concerts at McKee, Agora Art Fair. And then last year, in addition to our really popular Holiday Lights Tour, we added the Get Festive at Agora event. So holiday events are becoming very popular. A lot of communities are making sure that they have that in their profile for event activities. And so we were really happy to bring back Get Festive at Agora that kicks off the Holiday Lights Tour. You know where to find us. We are at 5500 East Sherrill Parkway down on the Promega campus near the Fitchburg Farmers Market. We also serve as kind of our community's concierge, providing visitor assistance, working with residents and visitors, and helping them kind of navigate all the things that they want to find in Fitchburg. An important part of our work is to make sure that we're partnering with the organizations that do the same work we do in and around the region. Obviously, Destination Madison is a strong partner. I'm on the board there this year. We meet quarterly as a region with some of the stronger partners, Madison, Middleton, Verona, and Fitchburg. We share best practices, we share data, we share research. So that's a really strong partnership that we find value in. Travel Wisconsin, obviously, another strong partner. Again, sharing that research, marketing assistance. They often provide training for our marketing team, which is really helpful. Of course, our Fitchburg hotel properties. Bike Fitchburg is a strong partner. They recently helped us with updating our bike map, which is so popular. I think we print close to 5,000 copies a year, and we always run out. Bike Federation of Wisconsin, and then of course B-Cycle has been a partner with us the last couple of years. Last year we had a few increases in our, well actually we had quite a bit of new subscribers to our newsletter. Our average open rate of the newsletter was up 5%, and our click rate is 8% above industry average. So in other words, those are statistics that we monitor to make sure people are reading our newsletter. If you aren't subscribed to Visit Fitchburg, please do. It is really well done and a good comprehensive monthly newsletter that will tell you what's going on and coming up in Fitchburg. Social media presence, as I mentioned, our social reach was up 32% in 2024, which was really good. We have over 20,000 followers across all our platforms, and we are increasing our social media platforms in 2025. So we will have a YouTube presence, a Pinterest presence, in addition to Facebook and Instagram. And that's just really based on where are people in which different generations, where are they going to find their information when they're making decisions on where to spend their dollars and where to recreate. Bike the Bird Challenge. So this is a really fun challenge that we started about 4 years ago. Participation is up 350% from the first year. Sales of the 2024 Bike the Bird t-shirt was up 32%. And overall engagement on the platform and in the campaign itself was up 25%. We have some new things that I promised Catherine I wouldn't share quite yet, but some new things happening in 2025 for Bike the Bird. This is a really fun challenge, and it's really like it's a campaign. And so it serves multiple purposes. Not only does it encourage people to get out in the summer and early fall and bike Fitchburg, but it also helps us all April through September when the campaign is happening, when the challenge is happening. It helps us extend the brand of our biking community. And so the feedback we get on this is really positive. We are adding, like I said, a few things this year. Last year, we donated all the sales of our t-shirts and matched the donation to free bike lights for Fitchburg riders. And this year we are, I guess I won't announce it yet, but our goal now, from now on, is to partner with a nonprofit that is a biking advocate and to donate the proceeds of the t-shirt sales to them with a match from our department. So partnering again with other organizations that are bike friendly and encouraging people to work together and enjoy the bikes. So I'll have look for more news on that for 2025. I just wanted to share a few of the comments. You know, we get testimonials or comments from the people that participated in the challenge. Had some really nice ones last year. I thought a new resident who had moved to Fitchburg, never seriously biked before, but they got involved in the challenge. We actually met her in addition to her biking 350 miles, and she hadn't biked that much before. It was also a fun way for her to get to know the community that she was new to. So again, if you don't know about the Bike the Bird Challenge, it's not really competitive, but it's fun to get involved. Well, it's not competitive unless you're my husband and Andy Potts, but I don't know how much longer I have to. I don't know if this summer, Andy, I have to hear about your totals on Strava every time I get home. So. Anyway, really fun event that we'll be launching just in a couple of months. Get Festive at Agora took the first one this year. We had a nice setup, nice turnout. It was cold. I don't know if it was just really cold or if it was the first cold night of the year, but it was pretty cold, but it was a great event, fantastic feedback. This will be an annual event, and we'll have new things and new kind of fun things to do every year. So look for more information about that towards the end of the year. Cannot thank Lisa and Jeremy at the city for the Holiday Lights Tour, the partnership that we do on this. I am always amazed at the engagement and the participation on this. People really like this event. The city, Lisa and Jeremy do a great job of organizing it, going out and getting images and videos and photos. Apparently there's a street in Swan Creek that just really goes all out. I think it's Hollyhock, maybe. So they've got quite a competition going. We had, I think, over 50 displays that participated this year. We always have a winner. I should have shared the winner with you because people vote on which display they like the best. But really a fun event that takes place that weekend after the Agora Festival, Agora kickoff. People really enjoy it. So again, if you see Lisa or Jeremy, tell them you appreciate they do this on their own, and it's a really nice thing for residents to engage in. Seems to create a lot of good family memories for people. And again, it goes back in the tourism realm. It goes back to that visitors spent coming to Fitchburg to visit family and having things for them to do that are unique to our community. It provides a great experience for them and their families. And again, they're creating an economic impact in our community that's positive. So a little last thing I'll talk about is just a reminder about, again, when you think of those profiles, those visitor profiles, that there's also quite a bit of data in research that amenities that are enjoyed by our residents equal tourism dollars, equal tourism spending. So again, when we're investing in our parks, when we're investing in the assets in the parks, when we're investing in our biking infrastructure, our B-cycle program, those are all things that do create a positive economic development for Fitchburg, economic impact. And it's something that we should kind of look at. We should look at when we're talking about these investments in Fitchburg. It's my opinion we should also look at them through a visitor lens or through a tourism lens and what opportunities we might have there. So I'll just give a quick example. We're in the process of expanding our pickleball courts in Fitchburg. And again, while they're heavily used by residents, they are absolutely used by visitors, and they create a amenity that could have the potential to increase our economic spending by visitors. And it's something that we want to make sure that we're talking about when we talk about investing in Fitchburg at the city level. You can read through that. If anybody wants this article or this information, I'm happy to send the source over to you. What else? Okay, I just mentioned we're going to extend the season for Bike the Bird. The new Staybird Suites hopefully will be completed the end of this fall. So an additional, I think, 100 rooms. I think that's right, Mike?
Yep, and it's Spring Hill Suites.
Oh, Spring Hill Suites?
Yeah.
And hopefully, cross your fingers, the 4 new pickleball courts will be completed by the end of the year, which would really give us an opportunity and hopefully to be a competitive contender for our larger tournaments in the Dane County region. And I think that's about all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Jay.
Yeah. So I noticed we got to the last slide is the first mention we have of pickleball. And the city has invested significantly in pickleball over the last 2 or 3 years. So I guess the council was told that if we do all this pickleball stuff, that people would be coming from miles around to do this in Fitchburg. But I don't really know. I noticed on your partnership page there wasn't any pickleball organization there. What are we doing to try to attract people to using these facilities that we keep building?
Well, and I should have shared this with Sita, and I'm happy to email it out later, but I did share with council last week or the week before, Jay, a report from so I'm happy to put pickleball as a partnership. We certainly talk about pickleball a lot. But last week or 2 weeks ago, so last year, the pickleball players in Fitchburg listened to the council, and they created a committee, a McGaw Pickleball Association Committee, MPAC. They also, in 2024, partnered with the City Rec Department and provided an incredible amount of in-kind service in terms of being at the courts, offering training, open play guidance. They created tournaments and teams and open to the community kind of opportunities to learn more and play a pickleball. They provided the numbers of people that they served for that time, which was really significant. I think they had about 9,000 people, that just 9,000 people during May through, I don't know what it was, September, that they worked with. That didn't include, obviously, people that just came on their own. It didn't include all the programming that the Recs Department provided. So in terms of sheer numbers of people using that asset, I think it's pretty incredible. Again, I don't have any data to prove it, but I think it's certainly an asset that is used more in volume by residents and visitors, more than tennis courts and basketball courts. It's not a competition. They're all important, but that particular asset is being used. And the McGaw Pickleball Association Committee is really putting the time in to making a robust programming opportunities that can compete with the very robust opportunities that are happening in Sun Prairie and McFarland and Cottage Grove and Middleton. In terms of, Jay, having people come here, I'm just going to be real frank. We are still not at the level that other communities are, that the 8 courts, 4 more courts will make us a little more competitive. Having lights on those courts will make us even more competitive. Those kind of things were important kind of in terms of what the actual asset, what the actual infrastructure needs to be a competitor for big tournaments. But in my opinion, again, when you look at those visitor profiles, Jay, of who's spending money in our community, when you have an asset like pickleball, you're definitely increasing the economic impact in our community by some of those visitor profiles that are bringing friends, that are bringing families, the people that are seeking active outdoor activities. So, I mean, I think it's a really good investment. We have a strong partnership with the pickleball people in Fitchburg, and we will continue to do that. I know the council has talked a little bit about what can they bring to the table in terms of dollars. I mean, to be frank, it takes a little bit of time to raise some money. They just established their committee last year. They put a lot of time into programming and working with the rec department. And I think that we will be talking more with them about ways to increase kind of their fundraising opportunities. So that's what's on the table for this year with at least us with working with them. Does that help at all? Does that answer any of those questions?
Well, yeah, it's the beginning of an answer. So how many courts does it take to actually have a good regional facility?
So 12 courts was the number, and that's a number that was shared at some point with Fitchburg, but I don't know if the train had already left the station at the time, the original 8 courts were discussed. But 12 courts is that number.
So presumably after we get those built this year, we should be in a position to attract other types of bigger users, I guess.
Yeah. And what I say, so we should be in a position to attract tournaments. Exactly. And we did host kind of a nice size tournament, not last year, but the year before. But again, I think they moved on to McFarland. And I don't know that it was because they had 12 more courts, but McFarland did have lights. But we're staying in touch with that. That was a Kappa run tournament. We're certainly in touch with them, and we're certainly still trying to keep our hat in the ring on that. I will say there's another nice tournament. These are all regional tournaments, not national or anything at this juncture. But the Madison Area Sports Commission produces a really nice tournament as a fundraiser for the Youth Sports Grant, and that is in Sun Prairie. And that's grown exponentially in the last couple of years, and I would anticipate that it will continue. And there's certainly been talks of, again, this is in the future, of having that be kind of a weekend-long regional, maybe have the tournament take place at 2 or 3 of the communities. So, we'd like to be a contender in some of those discussions.
So when you think of these other facilities, you mentioned Middleton, Sun Prairie, Cottage Grove, McFarland. How are those facilities situated within the community? For example, McGaw Park doesn't really have anything nearby it. There's no amenities. There's no restaurants. There's a Quick Trip not too far away now, and there's a bar that's not too far away. There's a couple of them, I guess, but there's not really much in the way of other amenities that those users might want to take advantage of while they're there. And there probably isn't going to be anything in the near future. So, how does that play out as far as when these places are selecting a place that they're going to hold their tournaments?
That's a really good question, Jay. It makes me think I need to do a little pickleball tour, pickleball courts tour. Because I couldn't tell you. I don't think Sun Prairie, we live in America, so I would say 90% chance, even though I haven't visited those courts, it's a good chance everybody's getting in their cars to drive somewhere after they play. So I guess I don't know, Jay. Yeah, I agree. It'd be nice to have more. We do, some of our marketing, we do try to kind of draw those links to visitors. So if we're marketing pickleball courts or active play, we would draw links to, the Rusty Bee, Flight, Tati, businesses that are in that area for sure. We'd also kind of, draw them along East Sherrill, maybe like Oasis, that type of thing, Atomic Koi. But no, there's not, I don't really have an answer for that, but it makes me want to kind of go look out and see what the competition is in terms of that. I know what you're talking about there. But I don't think, the nice thing about our courts is we're going to have 12 courts in one location. Other communities might have, and Sun Prairie has that. I don't think Middleton has that yet. McFarland, I think, is coming close to that. So having the majority of our courts in one location at least gives us opportunities to, for example, if we're providing grants to tournament organizers, they might use that money to bring in food carts or bring in, tents or stuff like that. So kind of setting up the resources there. But I do know at the last tournament that we hosted in 2023, quite a few, that took place the same weekend as the Agora Art Fair, and quite a few people visited the art fair, and then also we had them hooked up with the Hop House. So I know what you're talking about, Jay, but I don't have an answer on that one in terms of how we compare.
Angela, this is Mark. 2 suggestions. One is an anecdotal one for you, Jay. Having served as an ambassador over there last summer, 1 day a week, my wife and I, every time I'm over there, there are people from out of town that are there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not asking them if they're going to Quick Trip or Hop House, but I'm telling you, they're finding us and they're coming here and they're speaking very highly of what we have. This is the biggest growing sport in the country, even more than cycling.
Yeah.
And I think that we as a city need to support it and try and be competitive. That's my anecdotal comment. Angela, do you want to share, or are you willing to share that report with this group that Shelley gave you?
Oh, sure, yeah.
My wife's on this committee.
Yeah,
and
I don't-
everything she said is true.
Yeah, I don't have it with me, Mark, I'm afraid.
I may be able to find it, but I think it will share, every question he's asking is addressed in their update. They're very engaged in helping our city, and they're working with the city to do this. They're not on their own.
Yeah, I'll just say Sun Prairie, for example, has, I mean, that committee and that group of people are providing services that are available in, or programming that's available in other communities that the communities are paying staff for. So I know it's not the same as, you know, cutting a check for $50,000, but it's a really valuable in-kind service. I'm glad you mentioned, Mark, that kind of your anecdotal experience, but again, I'm just going to refer to the data that goes back to, if you're investing in assets that your residents appreciate and use, you're creating additional value from an economic impact from visitors, because that's who's, people visit places and spend time and money in places that people also like to live.
Jay, I can, for Cottage Grove, we have 12 pickleball courts, and there's 8 in one park and another 4 in another. So there aren't restaurants or anything nearby it. They're all kind of located in a park area, and they're just like here, very well used. So
I guess what I'm driving at is if we're investing in these kinds of facilities, which I've supported all along, what are the things that we need to do to help support that investment? You know, eventually there's going to be a connection kind of from the McGaw Park area over to Hartung. And, you know, even there, we're very heavy residential with not much in the way of other amenities. And I know that that Hartung's also looking at some commercial property, but I don't think that they're really looking at any kind of retail or restaurants or anything like that. Is that correct, Mike? They're looking mainly at
There's the one
more industrial stuff.
There's the one spot just to the west of the New Road Botanical that could allow like a commercial use, a local kind of commercial use. To the east of the New Blaney, that'll all be kind of the science and tech there. But there is that one spot right on Lacey Road, west of Botanical.
So, you know, when we, you know, we've talked a lot in our residential discussions about building complete neighborhoods, but I think that idea extends to more than just residential neighborhoods. If we're going to build some sports facilities, they need to provide the amenities that the people who go to those facilities want to use also. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I'd like us to kind of drive at. This is not really a chamber issue. This is more of a city planning issue, but
Well, I would be just as happy to see that happen too, Jay.
Yeah.
For sure.
And one thing we have talked about internally, even with the addition of the forecourts there, in an ideal world, we would have added the lights right with that project. The decision and conversations with administration and parks is let's keep that project moving forward. You may at the council see a change order come forward in the future, and I'm hoping that I'm not speaking prematurely here, to maybe add lights to it as the project continues and progresses.
Didn't we approve, with building those courts, didn't we approve putting in the underground?
Yes.
So the infrastructure is there. It's
right.
just a question of
adding the actual lights.
Buying some poles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're going to work with parks, and like I said, there may be a change order that's brought forward, so that way we can get that complete infrastructure in, so we are in a position to host tournaments.
Are the 8 courts lighted right now?
No.
So none of them are lighted?
No. Mm-mm. And the key criteria, Angela, it's lights, it's the wind slats, and then it's the gates, right? Are those the four kind of infrastructure items that the pickleball users look towards in tournaments?
That is correct. And so I've been told the gates on the current 8 courts are not going to change. So that might be something that we, again, have to makeshift a little bit.
Can
but
you,
the four,
what,
the new
what
four
does that, what does that mean? What are we talking about?
I'm not maybe Mark can tell, I'm not an
All right.
expert, but the
Wait.
flow of play.
The way those courts are set up is it's 4, 4, 4. And you have to walk over 3 other courts if you're on the far court to get off. So some of these new ones getting built are having gates on each side. There's also, if you go to Garner Park, you have fences between the courts so the balls don't roll all over the place. So it's just a matter of how they're set up to support and facilitate. What's going on at this one over here, this group is so organized, there's a board you sign up on outside, and there's frequently 50 people waiting to play. And you sign up with 4 people, and you move up, and the board crosses off, and it goes on down. It's the same way it's being done in Verona right now. So again, I think this is good discussion, but I would encourage Angela and Mike, share that report those folks put together, because those people did put in a lot of work. Another anecdotal comment about pickleball is I suggest, if you haven't seen it, Jay, go over on a Friday night in the summer and see 150 people over there playing pickleball at Pickles and Beer.
Yeah.
And that's anybody can show up, and they're not all from Fitchburg. So that's the kind of thing that's going on that is good for our city, and people do like it. The only complaints they have over there is the lack of the wind screens, and that was in their report. Because when it's windy, the ball blows all over the place. But that's getting taken care of. So I think this is a good thing, and I support what Angela's told you. And if the Parks and City want to take over more of it, that's fine. But Angela and her staff had helped on it. So I'm sorry I'm getting on my soapbox. Normally it's biking, I'm on that soapbox. But this is an important thing. And I would share that report, Angela, if you guys can, you and Mike.
Didn't we,
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Mike, didn't we buy some wind screens for pickleball courts just in the last couple of years?
Yeah, Angela, were there some wind screens?
My knowledge is they have been added, and again, the pickleball committee were the ones that helped facilitate that, not just to advocate for them, but I think they actually helped install them. But I think they're in the project for the new courts for sure. So my understanding is the wind issue will be taken care of. The flow of play will be taken care of on the new courts, and then we're just going to work on those lights. You know, it's a new sport. This was the original courts. I think this was passed during COVID. You know, I just think, you know, going forward, if we kind of look at this through not just our Fitchburg resident lens, but if we look at things through an opportunity for like a regional visitor lens, maybe we kind of change how we start from the beginning. And I know budgets are always a factor, but I think if we can figure out a way to get those lights in, you know, we're really competitive, and not just competitive, but we're one of the few like communities that actually have those 12 courts in one location, which is a big help too.
One thing Angela and I have talked about is like we're already getting ready to start our capital improvement plan process here, and having Angela involved in a discussion, you know, like with parks about what projects are being looked at. Because if we had kind of had that system in place before, maybe we would have started with 12 courts, knowing that that was the level that we needed to be at for to position ourselves from a regional tournament standpoint. So that's something we've talked about just kind of from a system and process standpoint.
All right.
Yes, Andy.
Morning, Angela. Just a couple of questions or comments, probably more comments. One, the Governor's Bicycle Council just released a study on the economic impact of bicycling throughout the state, so remind me to get that to you.
Oh, please, thank you.
Because I know you'd helped with the previous iteration of that, and so there's actually was a 2024 update on it. Secondly, just thank you for all your work on the Bike the Berg Challenge. I would comment your slide, the one kid on there looked kind of familiar to me. And then at our last Bike and Ped Commission meeting, we had a discussion about the Rides for Joe, which is something that the Bike and Ped Commission does with the Senior Center, and there was a discussion about trying to increase publicity for that event. So I think that might be something where maybe we reach out to you on what else we can do there. And then lastly, I have a question for Mike. Since we're talking about different amenities around parks and recreation facilities, we have our site selection software, whose name's escaping me at the moment.
Buxton.
Have we ever used Buxton to just look at some of our recreational facilities and just as far as people looking to plan events in the city, just take a snapshot of McKee Farms Park and then do the different sheds around it to show them what amenities are available in the various recreational spaces?
We haven't, but I'll ask Joyce that when she's back. That might be a question for the Buxton consultant. I know we go to them directly for things.
Because even if it's things like there's this many hotel rooms within this perimeter, there's this many restaurants, if that might be something that would be beneficial. I mean, we've been using it more for site selection and getting businesses here, but I think the data could be useful for events as well.
Yeah, we'll check with them to see if that's a possibility for us, because we've just been running some recent reports, like we can go into Buxton and we can see how a certain retail business performs within the portfolio of their brand and company and their rank. And with some of the recent stuff that Joyce has been running, we're pleasantly surprised at the strength of some of our retailers. And I think that's a story we need to start telling more to people, to say, look at the performance of these businesses, and that's why you should come to Fitchburg as we try and bring some other retail restaurants and commercial. Good suggestion.
Mike, that would be incredibly, I didn't know that we had that, but that would be incredibly helpful for us to really do some target marketing and target messaging with that information. So that's a great idea, Andy. Okay. I will also say that Destination Madison is upgrading their platforms for the communities that contribute room tax to Destination Madison, which would be Fitchburg, Middleton, and Verona. And so they will be having a site just with sporting venues. So when there are organizations, associations, or entities that are looking to host an event in Dane County, this platform will have all of the sporting venues or assets in the region and what their facilities are. So Fitchburg will be making sure that our facilities are located there. It'll include things like the pickleball courts at McKee Farms Park, tennis courts. I think the threshold is a minimum of being able to hold 250 people, but we certainly have some of those assets, like the pickleball courts in the McKee Park and stuff like that. So there'll be another platform in the region to showcase those assets.
Angela, one other last comment, and it's more for Catherine. As she begins to plan Bike the Berg, the Bike Commission and Bike Fitchburg and some of our city leaders would like to see if we can get more organized rides as part of your Bike the Berg this year, and we can talk to her about getting things publicized beyond the Rides for Joe. I think it will give us some great publicity.
Yeah, so I think I'll have to circle back with you guys on the Bike for Joe. That might be something, we actually might want to do a separate press release for that, but I think that's a great idea. We're happy to do that. In terms of organized rides, I'm actually supposed to talk to you, Mark, about that, and Andy, but in addition, some of the new things that we have planned for Bike the Berg this year, we hope will include an organized ride in May and one in the fall, but we will definitely need assistance with that from Bike Fitchburg and the Bike and Ped Commission. So
just reach
stay
out to us.
tuned and we'll. Yeah, absolutely.
So in the interest of time, is there any other questions of Angela? I too would like to thank you for putting this comprehensive report together. I think our chamber truly does support our city in a positive fashion. And anything else from the committee members? All right. Thank you very much, Angela, and we'll move on to the next item on our agenda.
Thanks,
Have a good
Angela.
day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, next on the agenda is the hotel room tax report considerations. Mr. Zimmerman, you're up.
Jeremy, can we flash up my screen again, please? We just have kind of the preliminary report, pre-audit and everything here. We were down about 4%. Here you can see in 2023 we ended at 556, almost 557. This year we came in 534, 498. It seems like things have kind of plateaued a little bit in the region. It's not just Fitchburg or anything. So we're going to be okay, though, in 2024. We still met budget. I had budgeted 525, so we still were over the budget. And then in 2025, we're projecting 545, but the new Spring Hill Suites is projected to come online hopefully by World Dairy and maybe some of the Epic things that would happen in October there. So I think we should be good with the numbers. But just something for us to kind of keep an eye on. Did you have a question, Jay?
Yeah, is that reduction, is that because of a reduced number of room nights or reduced rates?
It's across the portfolio of properties and everything there. So it's not unique to just one property.
Right, but overall, are we seeing fewer hotel stays or have prices come down?
Yeah, we don't have that data. We don't delve into that data. Angela, you got something?
Yeah, go ahead, Angela.
Yeah, I was just, sorry to interrupt. I was just in a meeting with our partners at Destination Madison this week, and we had the same discussion. So regionally, we're seeing the same thing. And Jay, it's a little bit of a combination of both. The average daily rates are down just a little bit, not that significant, but we are seeing fewer visitors. And it's leisure travel is still continuing to trend up. It's still that B2B business that we are not garnering after COVID. So that corporate travel is still not rebounded or trending up the same as leisure travel. So that's impacting every community. There's also a little bit of discussion, and again, there's no data that they know for sure on this, but there is more inventory in the region. And without that B2B business trending up as much as leisure, that's why we're seeing kind of the flat numbers. I will say there's a little bit of good news that I can share in terms of that B2B business. The Dane County or Madison was awarded the WIA contract. That news conference took place this week. I don't know if you saw it, but we did get the 8-year contract from WIA Sports, which is a big, big piece of business for our region. So hopefully that helps our numbers kind of moving forward. And that is an 8-year contract that includes basketball, hockey. Oh boy, I'm gonna mess it up. Basketball, wrestling, soccer,
football and golf.
I can't remember the other.
Football and golf.
Football and golf. Yeah, yeah. So those were really good pieces of news. But hopefully that answers your question, Jay. It's kind of a combination of both.
So no expenditure requests or anything.
Okay. All right. Then we will move on to item number 8, the Economic Development Director and committee members.
Okay.
Member one here.
And I think, Lorene, do you want to start with the kind of the housing plan RFP?
Yes. So we are planning to submit our RFP for the housing plan this week. So I don't know if you want to, I can share a little bit about what some of the process. Yeah. So some of the things that we're looking to have the consultant do is some focus groups throughout Fitchburg, heavily focus in the healthy neighborhoods just to make sure that their voice is included. Also kind of do a needs assessment and looking at our current housing stock and how we can improve it. Utilizing information from our previous housing plan in 2019, and also working with stakeholders is a big piece. and then also updating any type of, or evaluating our zoning adjustments as well. So we'll be starting that process fairly soon. So again, we'll be submitting it this Friday, and then we'll start our interviews on April 3rd. So definitely, if any members are interested in possibly being a part of that panel to interview, we definitely need some, support in that area. But I'm excited about this process.
As members here may recall, and CETA is our official housing authority here in the city of Fitchburg by state statute. So the work would commence, hopefully we would have the contract approved at the end of May, and the project would start beginning of June and then wrap up at the end of October. But the 2019 plan was our first plan. So this hopefully will take our strategies, goals, and initiatives to kind of the next level, and also align them where they make sense with the Dane County regional housing strategies as well. So this will be a major initiative for us throughout the balance of the year here. So we just wanted to give you an update on that. We have approximately $60,000 to help cover the costs. We've checked in with some firms, and it seems like our timeline here for the work product and also our budget are reasonable to proceed with that.
Are you saying you're going to publish this next week to start taking bids?
We issue it, and it'll go out on Quest, which is the platform where we put different RFPs that are out there to get it out. We'll send it out to committee members as well once we post it and issue it. So if there's any folks in your network that you want to share it with, we'll send it out to CETA and Housing Advisory as well as Council too.
Well, we should probably get that, a day or two before you actually put it on Quest, just in case, anybody looks through it and sees some things that need to be updated before it gets published.
Okay. We can probably send it out today to folks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine just posted a Zillow link to a house that went up for sale recently. It's in the city of Madison, 1,800 square foot house, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, that they are listing for $850,000 it's on a 3,500 square foot lot. This is the craziness that is happening, and I don't know how we can overcome this.
As I mentioned to people, the big thing is inventory across all housing and product types there, because right now there's an imbalance and none of us have a checkbook. We can, nibble around the edges on affordability, but until we get the market back into some kind of balance, none of us have a checkbook big enough to really seriously address the affordability issue.
Additionally, we're also looking at various programs. So at our Housing Advisory Committee, we had the Madison Area Community Land Trust to present, and then in our future meetings, possibly Habitat for Humanity, and then also some other organizations. So we're looking at alternatives for affordability as well.
So if you've got an interest in assisting Noreen, is it April 3rd, Noreen? Should we let you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thank you.
The other question I have for you, Noreen, you sent out a doodle poll a week or so ago. Was that in relation to this, or was it something else?
That was unrelated, so I'll let you kind of share a little bit.
Yep, thank you. I just remembered that when you gave your presentation, so thanks.
Yep, that's with our partners at Smart Growth Greater Madison, that they're looking to actually organize and host kind of a development and housing summit to bring people together to talk about strategies and how do we approach it. So that's through Bill Connor's group, and they wanted to kind of get a doodle poll out there to find kind of the best day of the week and time to host that kind of session and forum. So please reply to that, because they specifically talked about sending it out to our Plan Commission Council, and then I asked about CETA and housing, and he said yes, definitely. And he was at the candidate forum on Tuesday morning here in Fitchburg, and they're looking to maybe host that sometime in late May or the first half of June. Now, we've also heard from our friends at the Madison Area Builders Association, kind of via Brian McKee, that they're going to be doing some outreach to communities too, as we all kind of focus on housing and development processes and things like that to try and encourage more product and inventory through the pipeline here. So stay tuned as we learn more about that as well.
Okay, thank you. Noreen, anything else? Okay, thank you very much, and we're glad to have you on board.
I'll
Mike,
continue
go
on
ahead.
housing there. We are having lots of meetings with housing, let's say, partners. We just had another one yesterday inquiring multifamily, affordable workforce housing developer. There's another one that we're working with on a potential senior housing project. So we're continuing to have conversations and kind of expand our network. And it's a matter of trying to identify those sites in Fitchburg that may be appropriate for that type of housing product. We're continuing to also have conversations with our local developer here, Gary Gorman, about maybe a potential program that we would pilot with them on maybe more affordable single-family products. So we're kind of vetting that and following the lead of administration here internally before we kind of bring that forward. So stay tuned as we continue to make progress with those conversations. Then I'm going to switch to, I may flash up some slides here as part of this. Just some updates for you folks. Here we are in Uptown, and a big project that we're working on is right here. UW Health and LifePoint are going to be acquiring some additional acreage from Avante Properties. And the real estate entity is a group called Sanders Trust. But this is where the 40-bed physical rehabilitation hospital is going to go. And we just saw some renderings earlier this week. It's a little premature for me to share them yet, but they're looking to hopefully be in the ground in July of this year. So that would bring us kind of the next corporate use, and healthcare will still be a significant anchor here in the Uptown neighborhood, which is what we've all been kind of waiting for to get that segment of Uptown launched. So just wanted to update you on that. Here is Hartung Fields. If you've been over in that neck of the neighborhood there, this building is making good progress. This is the first of 3 buildings that Ned Hoyt is leading in that. I think they'll take occupancy late summer for this one, and then they'll look to determine when they start buildings 2 and 3. And then there's a good inventory of this townhome product coming as well. Corey Frank, who does the Texas Wrap apartment buildings, he did the one in Terra Vesa. He's doing these townhome units and everything here. So that's some much needed housing stock as far as townhome units and product that we've needed out here. And then let me see if it's, I'm going to go back to this. Those rental? Yes, those are rental. Then the other project is going to go right here. There's some land just north of, east of the roundabout on Haight Farm Road here. Sean O'Brien from North Point Development, he did the Limerick, just to the west of this area. He's going to be doing a 24-unit workforce LIHTC townhome product there. And we're working on the details right now. There is a request from us, and we're working with the mayor and administration to probably do an upfront deferred loan through our housing fund for this project. So we're working out the details on that. That's probably going to be on the council agenda for March 11th. So we're just working out the details on that. As far as the term sheet, Ellers has done the analysis for us, and we basically have come to agreement on the terms. We just have to kind of put the details together on paper, and then that'll come. But again, much needed housing stock, and that will be a LIHTC deal there. And then he's tapping into Federal Home Loan Bank money, affordable housing from Dane County, and then us to kind of fill in the remaining gap there. So stay tuned for that one. Then I'm going to zip down to Fish Hatchery Road. The other one that we got a meeting on today is this is what would be kind of the redevelopment of Bowman Plaza there. So Ned Hoyt again is working on this project. So you got the church to the north here, you got the mobile station to the south. And this would be a 5/2, so 5 floors of apartments, approximately 280 multifamily units. They would bring back 9,500 square feet of commercial with that space right up to the road. Then you have 2 floors of underground parking to be able to accommodate that level of development. So we've got a meeting with him and Ellers today to go through the Ellers analysis. But this would be a really catalytic redevelopment project on the west side of Fish Hatchery Road and aligns with the vision that we had put together with Vanderwall for what we wanted to see happen on North Fish Hatchery Road. So we want to keep that project hopefully moving forward.
Is there a TID district there that they're
Yep.
seeking assistance for?
Yeah, that's our TID number 10 that we've amended at least once, maybe twice, but this area is in that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mike, I may be getting ahead of you, but what about the east side of Fish Hatch, right across from the Avant, the shopping center, where the old juice barn is and the one house is left? Is that still going anywhere? Because that was part of Bowman's land, right?
Yes, because the milking parlor building is still there and everything. And the guys at Venture Capital have been doing a lot of the multifamily redevelopment along Fish Hatchery Road in Venture Capital. They've got a good relationship with Andy Bowman, and my understanding is once they kind of take down Bowman Plaza there, then maybe they will start a conversation about the land in the southeast corner of Post and Fish Hatchery Road. Yep. So that's on our radar screen, everything there. Then I'm going to TID number 18, which we just created in 24. This is Lacey Road here, Commerce Park Drive now that extends down to Lacey Road, the whole Sub-Zero campus here. We may need to amend this tax increment district, and there's a senior housing affordable developer that would like to do something on the lot north of Gymfinity Gymnastics on the west side of Nesbitt Road. There's a minor comp plan amendment coming forward that's already been submitted for the spring round here. So in order to, because there will be a request, that would be a WIDA LIHTC deal again. So we may need to amend this TID district this year. So we're just trying to get some more details. We're talking to Ellers to talk about, we would use the road as the connector here, and then probably go through the parcels that include Quivy's Grove, because everything has to be contiguous, and then get to the west side of the road with Gymfinity Gymnastics. So as we make more progress on this and have more conversations, we will keep you posted. But that could bring us some more affordable senior housing product on the west side of the city of Fitchburg. We've added down the middle on Fish Hatchery Road. We've added on the east side with Limestone Ridge, but we could use some affordable product on the west side of Fitchburg. So senior, though. Senior, yes, that would be for senior. Then I'm just flashing up Sub-Zero. You know, their headquarters project in corporate is under construction. We're doing a mayor business visit next week, Thursday, to go and visit with them. And then I'm going to go down here to Jamestown Quarry. So this is the quarry across from Super Target, but these are the 4 that would go across the front there. So Chase Bank right here at the corner of Fitch Road and McKee. Then we've got the Chick-fil-A, then we got the Crew Car Wash, and then we've got a McDonald's that would come across the front. So they're winding their way through for architectural design and review through the Plan Commission and making progress. And then right up here, north of where Fitch Road veers to the east, this will be one of those Texas wrap apartment buildings that Corey Frank will do with the parking in the middle, and then the residential units wrap the outside. So you'll see work starting on that in the spring. Here's our Spring Hill Suites that's well under construction along Nesbitt Road. And then I just wanted to show you, this is, here's Seminole Highway, and this is Lacey Road, the Badger State Trail here. Hop House is right up here. So this is the land that Newcomb is looking to develop, and what we're hearing from them is hopefully they will start their first building in the fall of this year. That would bring us a market rate multifamily housing at this site. So stay tuned on that one as we continue to make more progress. And then a few other notes for you is I've been out with Public Works we've been visiting the businesses on Long Bryant Road, which was previously the town of Madison, that recently is Fitchburg. But if you've driven on that road, it's in desperate need of a reconstruction there. So we've been out last week meeting with Zimbrick, Badger, and Kavanaugh, just getting their thoughts and of how they use that road, as we're not going to be able to get your optimal reconstruction because of how they use it and what the right-of-way is and our limitations there. So we're striving for the best possible. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to meet with them. Engineering and design will be this year, and then reconstruction will be next year. And that's in the CIP. So we're working on that. Hatchery Hill, the buildings that include the Great Dane, Panera, and then where Tapatio's is, recently sold. It was previously owned by Bridge 33 Capital. It's been acquired now by a local group, father and son, Harry and Nick Brar. So I'm working with Eric from Founders 3, the management company, to get an introductory meeting with them to just find out their kind of plans for those buildings there. And then our older multifamily housing stock has been receiving interest. So the Sun Valley Apartments on Fish Hatchery Road were recently acquired by Monarch Investments, which is the group that also owns the New Fountains Apartments on the west side. They're going to have to come forward and amend their PDD zoning at the site. They want to add a new building as you drive in there on the right. There's some vacant land. They want to do a fitness center, a small fitness center, and then their leasing office in there. And then that will, once they get that built and they move into there, that opens up 2 more apartment units for them to lease out at that property. So Deanna and I are meeting with them on Monday to direct them through that process. And then the Fairways and the Pines were recently sold and acquired by Trinity Investment. And as you might have seen if you've been driving down Fish Hatchery Road, there's new signage that branded as Renew High Ridge on the south side and then Renew at the Greens on the north side. And we've met with them and they're planning to invest in both of those portfolios on the north and south side. So we're trying to get more details on kind of what the upgrades will be to the property and to the units there. So a lot of interest happening in kind of that multifamily space, especially with some of that older naturally occurring affordable housing that we have here in Fitchburg. Then at Hatchery Hill, if you haven't noticed yet, there's a new restaurant that just opened at the top of the Wyndham, where Tuscany used to be. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Zaffarino Ristorante, and it's an Italian-Indian fusion restaurant up there. So I've stopped up there, said hello to the folks, and they're supposed to let us know when they're ready for a grand opening and a ribbon cutting. But they are open. They had a great day for Valentine's Day. I think they said they had 200 people go through there just on Valentine's Day, and hopefully are off to a good start on that one.
There was a nice article in the State Journal about the owners and what they were doing there. Mm-hmm. So you can look that up.
The 2 neighborhood plans that our planning department and staff have been working on, Greenfield and South Stoner Prairie neighborhood, those are going to start to get referred out in about a month or 2 here, and then wind their way through, and then they're supposed to be wrapped up. The timetable is kind of in August of this year. So that again is for Greenfield and South Stoner Prairie neighborhood. And then our colleagues in planning will be issuing an RFP to look to start probably the 4th quarter of this year, the major comp plan process, and then also how we approach a zoning code update and rewrite, as well as the sign code. Now, those are some items that are kind of in the queue, depending on staff capacity. And then we are continuing discussions with the United States Postal Service. We've been having some mail delivery issues, especially on the east side in Terra Vesa there, so Joyce has been working directly with them. But we also continue to work with them to bring back that contract postal unit station that we lost in the Fish Hatchery Road corridor. So they're working with us. We've identified a business that, because it has to co-locate with kind of a retail commercial business. So we've identified a partner that they're now having conversations with. There will be some, hopefully, contract negotiations, and hopefully, I don't want to give false hope, I guess, but we really want to get one reestablished in the Fish Hatchery Road corridor. And then in City Hall here, just the project that's happening internally is, as you first come in, City Hall, that wall to the right where the mayor pictures used to be, they relocated those to another wall. There's a committee that's working on a history wall and kind of what this wall will look like to kind of tell the story of Fitchburg's history there. So I'm helping out on that committee, and we'll see what the look and feel of that is to kind of transform that wall into the history of Fitchburg.
Have you, how long has that committee been working on it?
We just had our first meeting, I would say like 2 weeks ago. There were some preliminary thoughts and concepts from like a graphic designer. That was just kind of a starting point. But it's a good group of people, a lot of good discussion about maybe how to approach it and what to incorporate. And then we're going to reach out to some of Fitchburg's local talent. We have a wealth of local talent here that we're going to see if they would come together in a little kind of branding brainstorm session, for us on what are the best practices of approaching a project like that.
Have you thought about contacting Tom Kinney?
From the Kinney family?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got somebody from the Historical Society is at the table and everything there. Yeah, we've got a good group assembled.
Because Tom wrote the book.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
about Fitchburg. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh. So we'll be engaging.
I think he lives in New York now, but I'm sure he'd still be available.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, Mike, anything else?
No, any questions on anything else going on that anybody has?
Well, you certainly have a lot going on, so I think it's all
been very busy.
Everything's good. So whatever we can do to support, let us know.
Thank you.
And if you're done, I will move. We have no other subcommittee reports, I'm assuming, right?
No.
Okay.
I just want to report one thing.
Okay, Jay. Go ahead.
On next Wednesday, the Healthy Neighborhoods Committee will be reviewing the applications for our grants. There's 17 applications that we received, and we have about $175,000 to distribute to those applicants. So it'll be a long meeting because each one of the 17 applicants gets like 10 minutes to present their information, and then there's questions that may follow.
I think there's 19, but I may be correct. I may stand corrected because maybe 2 have gone away. But it was 19 that I got.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
that's coming up next week, and if you have a chance and you want to see what we're doing in those things, you might want to watch that meeting.
Noreen, you may want to tune into that just to see how it's all going through things. So anyway, okay. The other announcement I will give you is that Mike didn't mention, but the Bike and Pedestrian Commission is updating our 2017 Bike and Ped Plan. And we have a meeting with the consultant in mid-March. Our mayor, the one thing I said to Angela, our mayor wants to do more localized biking and walking events across our city, again, tying into livability, tying in neighborhoods, trying to get places. So we're going to see, maybe have a subcommittee that pulls people together to discuss more about that. So again, a positive thing going on as well. So that should be done by the end of the year, the plan. And if there's nothing else, our next meeting is Thursday, March 27th. I want to thank all of you for attending and putting your time in on this, and we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you in March. Have a good one.